Hi, I'm Connor, and today I'll show you how to play Come As You Are by Nirvana, as it appears on their 1991 album Nevermind. There's 4 main parts to this song, and I'll divide this video up into each section, but we've got the verse with that main riff, a pre-chorus, a chorus, and a very straightforward solo. No matter what your skill level is, with a little bit of practice you'll be able to learn this song. First things first, let's get the right guitar sound. So this song's actually in D standard tuning, meaning that all the strings are tuned down a whole step. I've linked a free tuner in the description below to help you get into the right tuning. Now to start, you'll want a clean guitar tone with some chorus added, and that gives it the sort of warbly effect that you hear in the song. In the chorus, you'll want to add some distortion to your sound, which gives the guitar that drive and grit. For your amplifier itself, I like to keep the bass and middle just under halfway, and the treble up at about 75%. And for your guitar, I think it sounds best using the neck pickup. Alright, so let's start with the main riff. So what I'll do, I'll break it down into 2 phrases. We'll start with, and then we've got. So starting with that first bit, we'll play the top string, the 6th string, open twice, and then we'll use our first finger on the 1st fret of the 6th string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, and we're going to leave our finger on that fret, and we're going to play the 5th string, so the string right underneath, open, and let it ring out, and then top string, 2nd fret, 5th string open again, and then the top string, 2nd fret, 2nd fret again, and then 1st fret. So all together, that gives us and you can see when you're alternating between these strings, you're going to want to make sure that your finger's a little bit arched. I'm not sure if you can see there. So what that will do is it gives this string, the 5th string, clearance so it doesn't catch or ring out, which I think happened when I was playing it a second ago. So you want to give it enough room so you're not getting that sound. Just a nice arch. So the next part of this is, so we're starting with open string again, 6th string, 5th string 2nd fret, open string 6th again, twice, 5th string 2nd fret again, open string again, and then 6th string 1st fret. And that's going to take us into that's the bit that sort of helps us loop it. So let's play that again fully. That second phrase. So let's tie it all together. And then we're going straight back into see it just loops. The rhythm and the timing of it can be a little bit tricky. If you're playing along with the metronome, when you start, you're actually coming in, I think, halfway through the 3rd beat. So 1, 2, 3. That's right. So what I recommend doing is listening along with the song where you can. If you can find a version on YouTube and slow it down using the slow down function, that's really helpful. But practicing along and listening to the song to really get the timing is really helpful. So let's play it through one more time together. I'll take it slow. I'll just keep looping. Okay, so to transition from the verse to the pre-chorus, there's a bit that goes like this. It's really, really straightforward, and what we're doing is an E major shape. So open top string, 5th string 2nd fret, 4th string 2nd fret, and then 3rd string 1st fret, but we're not actually going to press that down. We're going to want to just rest our finger on it so we get that muted note. So what we get when we strum all the strings, and we're strumming the 2nd and 1st strings as well. So yeah, don't want that 3rd string to ring out at all. So you strum down 3 times, and then the last time you strum it, the 4th time, you're targeting the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings all open. And we're going to be doing that a couple of times in this song, this sort of triad of open strings. Don't know what chord it is. But it's very Nirvana. Don't know which song it is, but it reminds me of, I'll put it here, it reminds me of that song. And that's going to take us into the pre-chorus. So let's try it. It can be a bit tricky to know when to come in. Now, let's do it one more time. Now. And here's how it takes us into the pre-chorus. So that's how it ties it together. So now we're into the pre-chorus, which is and you're really going to want to get this rhythm down. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. When you're strumming, you're going to want to hit the bottom strings with the upstroke to give it that standoutness. So let's start with the first chord that we've got going on here. Now to play this is what's called a bar chord, which some people find a bit tricky. If you're getting started, it can be a little bit difficult, but once you get the technique down, you'll be completely fine. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your index finger and you're going to lay it across the 2nd fret, across all the strings. Now, it might take you a little bit to figure out what works best for you. I angle my finger slightly, just naturally. Keeping it straight is a bit more painful for me. So yeah, I use the side of my finger, sort of that side there, to keep everything down. I'm not pushing particularly hard, just squeezing the fretboard a little bit with my thumb on the back, sort of pushing it into that finger. And then you're going to want to take this finger and put it on the 4th fret of the 5th string, and then your little finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. So that gives you this shape. Now you'll notice that we're not playing these bottom strings yet, that will come in a minute, but we start with just these top 3 strings, and that's what's known as a power chord. So just that shape, you can take that anywhere across the neck, and that's a power chord, and we'll use those again in a minute. But you're going to want to do 2 downstrokes for that. And then on the upstroke, you're going to want to move your little finger to the 3rd string, 4th fret, so you're just moving it down a string. And then when you hit the upstroke, that gives it that weird, again, don't know what the chord is, but that gives it that sort of weird, shimmery, bright sound. Now, I like to leave all the notes ringing out because when you put it with reverb, like I've got now, and the chorus, it creates this swirly effect that gives the song its sort of sound. So if possible, try and let the notes ring out as much as you can. So we're going down, down, up, down, back to this top position. And then if you remember, it's down, down, up, down, up. But on this last up, we're gonna take all our fingers off the fretboard and we're gonna target these 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. I'll turn my chorus off. 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So, and these just serve as passing notes to get us to the next bit. So that gives us, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to an A major shape, which is open 5th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd, and then 2nd fret of the 2nd. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to go down, down, up. So on our downstrokes, we just want to target these top 2 strings, the 5th string and the 4th string. So down, down, and then on the up, you want to catch from the 5th string. So down, down, up, and then down again. And then on the up, we're doing that thing where we take our hand off the fretboard, well, fingers, and then upstroke. And then back to this F sharp shape. So all together, that sounds like this. This is probably the trickiest part of the song, I think, especially if you're relatively new to guitar. Hand will probably do something like that, trying to figure out where everything is. Don't worry about it. Just focus on getting the shapes right. So that power chord shape, and then moving your little finger down 1, and then hitting the bottom strings on the upstroke. Just give that a try. And then down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And then you're just repeating that. That's the bit where the singer's going memory, or memory, or memories. On the final round of this, you just want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 downstrokes. Because what that will do is that will take us back to, so down, 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 and then picking the top string twice, back into our main riff. So all together, that sounds like this. leading you straight back into that main riff, that verse. So now we're on to the chorus, and this is the easiest part of the song, or at least it can be. So all we're doing is turning on our distortion, and we're going. Similar rhythm to what we had with this pre-chorus. But what we're doing is we're taking that power chord shape that we learned earlier, and we're starting on the top string on the 7th fret, and then on the 5th string, 9th fret, and then the 4th string, 9th fret as well. And then all we're doing is we're taking that shape and then putting it on the 5th fret of the 5th string. So 5th fret, 5th string, 7th fret, 4th, 7th fret, 3rd string. With distortion, that sounds like. Now, there is something interesting happening on this chorus as well. There's 2 guitar parts that are playing, and you can play both guitar parts on one guitar. It's a little bit tricky, but I do think it is worth learning because it makes it sound the guitar part a bit more full, especially if you're just playing sort of by yourself. So to do that, what we'll do is we'll go back to this chord up here, and if you remember that bar shape that we learned, where we're laying one finger across all the strings, if we just do that here, because it will make this step a bit easier. So how it sounds, how the guitar part sounds is like this. So all we're doing is strumming and then playing or moving our little finger down to the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and then plucking the 1st string, which has the 7th fret pressed down, and then returning to the 9th. Now this can be a bit tricky, especially if you're just getting started again, but take some time, take it really slowly. And sort of build up the speed, and I really think it is worth it. If you have a listen, I think it just makes the part sound a lot fuller. Now, on the second chorus, so the chorus repeats twice in this song. The second chorus, there's a response bit, almost to, and you can play that by doing a bar shape again. So we're taking this second chord now, we're doing the bar shape, and all we're doing is we're moving our little finger down one string again to the 2nd string, the 7th fret, and then lifting it off, and our finger, our sort of barred finger, is pressing down on the 5th fret. So all together, that sounds like this. And what I like to do in between is I like to add in that these 3 open strings again. So all together, with the chorus distortion and the added guitar part, it will sound like this. Again, fairly straightforward if you just want to play. There's nothing wrong with that, and in fact that is the guitar part. It's just adding in that if you want to challenge yourself or fill out that guitar part a bit more. And finally, we're on to the solo. Now this is a really, really easy solo. I think it's actually probably the easiest solo of any song that I know of. All we're doing here is, let me put on the distortion and the chorus. That's it. And we're repeating that, I think, 4 times. So I'll show you how to do it. Now, before I show you, there's a couple of places that you can play this on the fretboard. Up here, here, but I think it's best to play it on this one string because it's a lot easier, especially with the vibrato technique, which is this sort of shaky hand that gives it the sort of wobbly sound. I think it's a lot easier. Some people play it elsewhere. I just think it's best here. So what we're doing is we're on the 3rd string and we're going to play the 6th fret, the 9th fret, the 11th fret. So and while we're playing that, we're going to want to add some vibrato, like I said, that. So to do this, usually vibrato is a lot more subtle, but in this song, sort of, Kurt Cobain, the guitarist, is really sort of going for it. So you're going to want to work in that vibrato. The way that I do it when I'm playing like this, and it is a bit unusual, is you're taking sort of your fingers off, you're driving the fretting finger into the fretboard, and then just sort of pulling your hand down, and then returning it. Now, if you don't press hard enough, you'll get this, which you don't want. It actually sounds like an incorrect noise. But make sure to press quite firmly into the fret. You can see it's actually digging into my finger a little bit. So that's the first one, and then I would say move to your middle finger for the other bits of vibrato. First finger makes sense for the 6th fret, and then middle finger for the 9th and the 11th. Now what we're also doing is bending and returning. So what that is we're picking the 11th fret, 1, 2, 3, and then bending it. So to bend, just pressing your fingers upwards. And you want to bend it until it reaches this pitch, which is the 13th fret. Now what you can do is you can actually play the 13th fret if you want. That's a bit easier. But in the recording, Kurt Cobain is bending to that note. But you can play the 13th fret if that works easier for you. So put all together, that sounds like this. And that goes back to So So you can see how this is just building blocks that we've learned. Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, solo. And it is that straightforward. It's a very, very simple song to learn, but you can see that there's a lot of techniques, like this bar chord thing that we've got going on, there's vibrato, and sort of this multiple sort of strings strumming and picking that's a little bit tricky to get your head around if you're a beginner, but definitely worth it. So what I recommend with this song is really taking your time, slowing down and building up to the full speed. This song is at 120 beats per minute. If you go onto Google, you can get a free metronome. It's built into Google. I would say start around 90. Don't go too slow, otherwise I find that the song kind of loses its meaning. You need the context of the song to play along to. Another tip is to open up the song on YouTube and slow it down using the YouTube player. It might sound a little bit weird, especially with all the chorus and layered guitars and stuff like that, but if you sort of get the gist, you're just there for the drums and the bass really. And that's it. Stick with it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, but otherwise, good luck learning this song and I hope you have fun. Thank you.